Hello there, it's Mike.
And Katie.
And Jesse.
It's episode 216.
Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
This week on Cup of Wrath. That's right, we're back!
All three of us again! Because y'all loved it so much last time, and there was an overwhelming mail-in campaign, so yes, I am back.
Yeah, we kind of had to after that campaign. It was like, there was no way it wasn't happening.
You are stuck with me.
Yeah, his mom called.
Well, she did put in the most votes.
We can't ignor her.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
That would be sacrilegious.
I mean, I do like the cheesecake, so.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She does control the cheesecake. Yeah. Wait for it.
Yeah. So my family is this. Sorry.
Cheesecake Mafia?
It's essentially a cheesecake mafia.
Vegan cheesecake mafia.
Vegan cheesecake mafia.
100%.
Yeah. I'm not going to deny it. I'm a proud part of it. A founding member, you might even say.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, as a moment earlier, you said, I have cheesecake in the freezer. I was like, damn, I wish I had cheesecake in the freezer.
That's right,
You know
I do.
what? Now I want something sweet.
I know. I want sweet treat.
Saturday Donut Shop opens and it's going to be vegan donuts.
I know. Like so many options. It's going to be terrible.
It's terrible for me. It's literally like 3 minutes outside my door.
That's why you're going for me.
So, yeah. I mean, we make friends with you for a reason, Jesse.
That's right. Location.
That means I really have to go to the gym that morning.
I have yoga and now I got out of the gym just so I can have my donuts,
That's great. I'm just getting donuts.
You're just like, screw that. Yeah.
No, I'll come if you give me proof of life you bought donuts, vegan donuts, I will come pick you up.
Okay.
Well, were you not going to pick him up before that? Or?
No.
I was, but I want proof of life.
Proof of life, and then, okay, nice.
Yeah, just because I buy the donuts doesn't mean they're going to make it all the way.
See?
Plus, I have a roommate, so.
Yeah, that's what I'm scared
That's
of.
the problem. They have to be hidden.
Yes.
Yeah, so.
So you just need to text him when you're like 3 away from the till, and then Mike will come down.
So I can be that guy?
He can be there and just be like, swoop outside and be like,
These are mine. I just hope I'm done the gym by that point.
You just have to leave. Drop everything and leave.
Just a sweaty mass.
I'm just going to put this out there. The donuts will be there other days, too. This is not a one-time thing.
I know, and I think about it. I'm like, well, as much as it would be great for supporting.
Opening weekend. Vegan.
Insane.
Opening weekend vegan. Want to make sure that it stays that way.
I know.
It's not always vegan.
I know. But on Wednesday, they had cookie dough donuts.
Did they say they were going to have vegan for Saturday specifically?
Saturday, Sunday.
Okay.
But
like all vegan or just...
No. Just a selection. But in Abbotsford on Wednesday, they had 6 vegan donut options.
So apparently their chef is vegan.
Are you trusting me to pick flavors for you?
They had cookie dough vegan. I want those.
You know what? Give me some donuts.
I said, bitch, give me some donuts.
If they're fluffy and sweet and got holes, I'm in.
Damn straight.
Anyways.
What a way to start the episode. You know what? It's another ringed food.
Oh,
onion rings, donuts.
Yeah. Well, as we've said before, onion rings are just vegetable donuts.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
He failed as the world's most intense onion ring fan, though. He didn't just walk straight up to the restaurant.
I know. I was going to do
He was so intense and planned on it.
You need to just look them dead in the eyes.
And you just need to say, bitch, give me some onion rings.
No.
I think our waitress would have crumbled if you did that.
I think she might have.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
She was so delicate.
She was.
Dainty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But she did manage to, scare your son.
Twice.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
That is true.
That was great.
She was pretty quiet, like a cat.
Like a ninja.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A beer ninja.
Yeah.
I like beer ninjas.
Beer ninjas. Yes. This needs to be a thing.
You would be a beer ninja.
Yeah. I think I was.
Yeah, you probably were.
Like, what's to say a group of ninjas don't decide to, start a brewery? Because,
Ninja brewing?
thieving and assassin business is not what it once was.
Yeah.
Not
just a little something on the side.
Just a little something on the side.
Yeah.
Ninja brewing.
You know what? By then, okay, how much scheming and planning for said assassins happens while drunk?
That's
So they're
true.
just getting a head start on like starting
That's
the process.
true.
That's
It
very
is
true.
kind of makes sense. Be like, oh, so I overhear you have a beef with someone.
Mm.
I can help you out with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's perfect.
So tonight we're drinking
Speaking of drinking,
a blackberry elderflower blonde ale.
which is delightful.
Yeah, we hadn't had this one for a little while. We went through a couple pictures of it, and
We're sorry, Phillips. We
I know, I feel
we
weird.
have forsaken thee for the evening.
Yeah, well, we're drinking somewhat local, so
Yeah, but it's
it's
you know,
pretty damn local.
it's pretty.
we were
It's more
one
local
episode
than
away-
Phillips.
we were one episode away from the Phillips sponsorship.
I know, right?
Fail. Next time.
You know what? I want to go. They've got a concert series.
The Tilt concert series, like
Yeah, on the weekend of the 8th, July 8th, 9th, and 10th.
Yeah.
I want to go.
But it's over on the island.
Wait, the Phillips has a concert?
Phillips Brewing.
Yeah, they're having Phillips Brewing is having a little
And they're
like,
actually getting like
beer fest
artists
music
from
festival.
like LA, like independent, like folky,
we actually knew some
knew
of them.
the artists.
Seriously?
Right? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was like,
Like personally or just...
yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
we're best
totally,
friends.
Totally.
BFFs.
Totally.
Cool.
Speaking of
Cool, cool,
which, when I was working in the coffee shop, there was the one kid that was wearing a Nirvana tee, and I started talking to them about Nirvana, and then I said something like, "Well," they looked at me like I was crazy. I was like, "Well, I know the band, right?" Like, like, and they were like, "Wait, you know the band?"
You should have just ran with
And
it.
I was like, "Well, like, like I'm old enough. I grew up with the music."
I
Like,
party with Dave Grohl all the time.
yeah, and they were like, "You grew up with them?"
Oh my god.
I did actually grew up listening to them. I don't know what you're talking
And I
about.
was like, no, not personally. Like, I'm from that era. And they were just like, oh, whoa. Like, I literally just thought you knew Kurt Cobain. And I was just like,
How old do they think you are?
Not old enough.
Oh goodness.
Speaking just somewhat on the subject of the coffee shop, just cheers to summer, people. We're done.
Bye now. Peace out.
Summer.
Yeah.
Don Dance at Bibliothèque. Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
I still have to work.
We gave you your option. Less pay and more time off.
Way less pay and more time off. Yeah, I decided to keep the pay. Sorry, I know. I do get holidays in a few weeks, though. How
Yeah.
exciting. I haven't had a week off since Christmas, so that'll be exciting.
That is awesome. There's nothing better than holidays, honestly.
Disappearing where I can't even touch my phone, it'll be amazing.
Oh yeah.
That's the best part of going where we camp is no cell service.
Yep.
I literally can't even be tempted to work.
Yep.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah, that is kind of nice when you just are completely shut off. Like, we get so many emails throughout the day. It's ridiculous. Like, half of them don't even, or I'd say more than
Pertain.
half of that don't even apply to us,
3/4.
really. But we'll get like anywhere from 8 to 12 of these emails in a day. A lot of it just irrelevant stuff. And my favorite part of summer is just that stops. It just
Yeah.
stops. It's not like
It already has stopped.
Not entirely,
But
because the
it's-
teachers are still
yeah.
working for the rest of the week. But
there's-
it's the gravy spigot has slowed down quite a bit. Yeah,
Wow.
the gravy spigot of email trains.
Yeah.
I feel that's what I'm telling my boss. We went out for lunch the other day, and he's like, I was gone for an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
I have 25 emails.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh my God. Oh my God. Right. And like some of my days, my Outlook, the whole page takes up more than the whole page of my Outlook. And it's
Yeah.
just ridiculous. Right. So
No.
I'm very much looking forward to being able to leave and not tell my coworkers, just text me if anything comes up, because they always tell me, Katie, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's fine. The world will survive. They won't have an option.
Yeah.
And it's marvelous.
At least there'll be one more episode at least before we go on camping. Mission Impossible episode.
Mission Impossible. Oh my God.
So,
So excited. So excited.
and then when we get back, there's our double feature.
Oh, it's going to be.
So I
Pink
think
nuclear
Jesse's making
bombs.
fun of us for this.
Making fun of you for what?
The Oppenheimer Barbie double feature.
Absolutely not. I think it is the most brilliant idea.
It's going to be the weirdest episode ever.
Mm-hmm.
I think you should definitely like write down your dreams that night, because there's going to be some wild stuff happening.
I think we're hoping to go see Oppenheimer first and then go see Barbie.
And on the high note.
Yeah, I feel
Because like I'm super excited about, so I'll be like looking forward to it. Opposed to like if I'm gonna be all super jazzed about Barbie,
giddy.
and then I'm gonna go to Oppenheimer and be like, fuck.
Yeah. No, that's why you have a chaser right after you take a shot.
We're gonna go to the VIP theater and get the fish.
I'm gonna get the big old huge like
do the fish bowl?
massive cocktail drinks. Yeah, I want one of those. Whatever is pink.
For the what about for Oppenheimer then? What do you do?
Whiskey, just straight whiskey
in a dirty glass.
Yeah. Just give me the hardest shit you have. We're just gonna do this
and spill it on the table when you serve it, please.
Well, no, I have a standard.
I just want to slurp it from the tray.
So we can go do that. Then we can go play pool and be all like hard edge and like, oh my god. And
I feel like we're gonna have smokes during this whole thing.
I love that idea.
Like
cigars. Well, it looks like I feel like Oppenheimer is gonna be a heavy cigar.
I used to love going. I'd go play pool and smoke. That I would ditch school and do that, and that was my favorite thing ever.
You rebel.
I know.
sounds like you're straight out of the 50s.
I know.
You greaser.
I know. I'd go and listen to Led Zeppelin and play pool and smoke. It's fantastic.
Well, we are done
Why
for
are we
this.
not more hardcore?
What?
Why was I not more?
Yeah.
That was the most hardcore I got.
Huh.
So.
Well, we are done.
Then I failed English and then I stopped ditching school and I was like, shit, I gotta pay attention.
It's fair.
But it's the language we speak.
I failed the course of English. How about that? Is that better?
Okay.
Just because I wasn't doing more. And then I turned it and got an A the semester.
But you were able to speak it though, right?
I was able to speak it.
Okay.
We're good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Just check.
Most of the time.
Biblioteca.
Biblioteca.
See. No, that's bueno. But anyways, we are done for the summer, as we said. But, there is a profession that is year-round that never stops. And that is, archaeologist, professor, all-around badass.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That is true.
Yeah, the old man.
Old man. The 5th Indiana Jones film hit theaters this weekend. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Cue the music. You don't have to pay for this one.
Can we have it in a little bit more announcement? Like, I don't know how to do it. I don't make. You know what? I apologize to everyone that I asked that.
You're gonna beatbox this one.
I don't make sound effects. I'm so sorry, everyone. That's better. That was better. I like that one better. Oh god. Okay, so we moved to 69, was it?
Yeah, we did.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
You brought this on yourself.
So,
What kind of a podcast is this?
it's a threesome, man. Deal with it. Okay, so quick minute. We have to do a spoiler-free moment.
Yes.
So we can talk spoiler-free for a little bit, or for we always say 30-second review. It turns into 3 minutes, but
Hey, you know what? It's better if it turns into 3 minutes. Than 30 seconds.
better longer than shorter. I mean, it'd be better to have a surprise lasting, right?
Wow, this has gone on for so long. I can't believe it. I was prepared to disappoint you.
This never happens.
Oh, we shouldn't have pre-drinked. Mike.
Oh, I'm going right back.
You're going.
Okay, I enjoy the aesthetic of it. It was a good kind of finale to the series. It's kind of mid-range, though. It's not great, but it's not bad. There was nothing that I groaned like Kingdom.
I was gonna say, let's compare it to because if you hadn't listened to our last episode where we watched all of them,
it's
a kind of a meh.
For me, I wouldn't say don't go see it if you're an Indiana Jones fan, and it reminded me more of the novels than the movies.
Oh, okay.
It reminded me more of the novels than the movies, which I don't know if it was a good thing or a bad thing, but there was nothing in it that blew my mind. That was just holy shit, this was amazeballs. Right?
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. Like, it was enjoyable. There was a few scenes where I'm like, wow, this is going on. A lot of it was better than I was expecting. With him being so much older, I was worried that it would be a little too corny almost. Especially after watching the last one, there was so much corn in it and so much silly and coming even off of Last Crusade, but like both of those.
You get older and you can't digest the corn.
You know what?
There's a kernel of truth to that.
Both of you. Oh my god. That was actually really fantastic, though. So I would agree with you that it was kind of there. I'm not disappointed that we watched it.
I'm not disappointed. I remember
being so. I remember being more disappointed after Kingdom of Skull when we first watched it. I don't have that same like what the hell was this mentality. So that's a huge bonus.
Well, there was no mystical monkey power.
There was no mystical monkey. So I do really appreciate that. So I would still I would still say I was glad to see it. Jesse?
I definitely, and I know we keep trashing this, but I definitely liked it better than Crystal Skull. That was my first.
That's the low bar, so I mean.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a high bar, but no. Again, that having been the last time I saw an Indiana Jones movie, I wasn't really sure what to expect from this. I was. I was hopeful, right? Like I was optimistic and a little bit because, the trailer looked fun and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And
the Nazis were back. I mean, how could you go wrong? The Nazis were back.
Yeah. I mean, like everyone's favorite bad guy was back.
Anytime you punch a Nazi,
I was gonna say sometimes you just gotta punch a Nazi.
Sometimes you just gotta punch a Nazi, and
I think we're at like at least 6 times saying that over the last year. I think. So.
I know. And apparently we still have to say it in our everyday life.
Not just about Indiana Jones movies.
I know, right?
One thing, though, I really like that I appreciated about this movie is I don't think there were any characters that I really disliked.
Yeah.
I agree.
Which, I thought was
a point.
I thought that was kind of odd going back and thinking about it because usually, like, especially with Crystal Skull, there were characters that were not my favorite. And almost any movie, there's always usually at least 1 or 2 characters that I dislike. But I liked pretty much everyone in this movie that I can think of. They were... well portrayed, and the cameos of characters from previous movies, they were, I think, brief enough that it didn't feel oversaturated. Mm-hmm. Like they were trying to be gimmicky about it.
I was gonna say, they didn't force it. They felt like it made sense for where they were. They built them into the story. It wasn't like, what?
It wasn't like, why are we shoehorning this person into this scenario? Right? Yeah. So. No, overall,
well, even the relationship with his goddaughter, like it didn't feel fake or forced. It felt like a natural progression story. So.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
That's quite all right. I have nothing more to say.
Sit in the corner and drink your beer, boy.
Well, I twist my arm, but
only speak about onion rings. That's why you're here.
Yes, sir.
But
overall, yes, it was very enjoyable. I'm glad I got the chance to see it. It was, I definitely smiled and laughed a lot, and yeah, it was definitely enjoyable.
That's true. There was some good laughs in it.
There was some good action, some good deaths.
Yeah.
It was quite violent in quite a few things.
Yeah, it probably is one of the more violent Indiana Jones films.
There was a lot of deaths on every side. A lot of even civilian casualties as well, like more extra accessory deaths.
There was some straight up like Final Destination moments in there.
But then like the bad guys, a few of them were, oh no.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it is a good entry. Like it definitely stands up.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the prettiest entry in a while.
Yeah.
Especially for the cinematography that was in it.
I think it was a well done movie.
So
I think the CGI might have been better than Flash.
100%.
Yeah.
I couldn't complain about opposed to the Flash where I'm like, what the hell is this? I could tell that he's animated.
They said that was what it was supposed to look like in Flash.
Uh-huh.
They said that after the fact.
Yeah. After the first weekend and no one went.
Yeah. And they're like, oh no, we totally meant to do that.
No, he's supposed to be terrible. That's what the people like.
But I could tell that he was animated, but but it was really well done.
Yeah.
So
There has been worse CG. And
I mean, I didn't like the Flash's face. Bothered me to look at.
yeah, because it was like exaggeratedly like.
Yeah. So
open
this
wide.
didn't bother me. So
this was not for me. Like, you know, like when we saw Flash, it was cool to see Batman, but like at the same time, I was like still in that like unknown of like, did we really need to see it in theaters?
mm-hmm.
Kind of feel. As much as I'm kind of like, this is kind of like mid, I still enjoyed the theater watch.
Yeah.
Like it still really felt like a theater watch.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that helps for a review.
Well, you know what I liked too, and he was gruff enough.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't so angry that he was obnoxious.
yeah.
You know,
He wasn't stubborn.
Yes.
Yeah.
He had just enough bitterness to him that makes sense for the shit hand that he'd been dealt in life right now. But he was not to the point where he didn't want to listen to anyone. He was just this bitter, angry old man. He was still really likable.
Well, he was still Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
To the
So he
core.
was still, everything about his character was still there. You know, intrigued, wanting to prove the truth, wanting to help people out, never
Yep.
questioning at all what was more important.
Looking
in
for the
story.
truth all over everything else.
Yeah. Like the
Right.
core of that character
And
was
making
still
sure
there.
that this shit didn't get in the hands of Nazis.
Right? I mean, it was perfect.
Yep.
So, okay, are we spoiler territory now?
We're going to spoil all over you.
Oh, spoil everywhere.
Yeah, it's going to be in
Everywhere.
all your crevices.
Okay, so if you have to leave, thank you for joining us and go see Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. If you're going to stay, spoilers ahead.
Dun, da, 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 dun, da, da, da.
Dun, da, 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 dun, da, da. Spoilers now! Spoilers now! Spoilers now!
Okay, so now that we've successfully driven everyone away.
I'm so sorry for that. That was a wall of sound. Just in case you were
we
forgetting.
will be going on tour after this.
Yeah.
We should.
We should just have like mobile like cup of rad like coffee chats in places.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Then we could just talk to
Yeah.
people randomly and it'd be great. I mean, there'd be like support groups, but
Oh, yeah, because, you know, me walking up to someone in a coffee shop like, so what do you think about this movie?
guerrilla podcasting.
Yeah, we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about this movie. I would love that.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Go do that at a bar too,
Right?
Not just a coffee
Let's
shop.
do that. Guerrilla podcasting.
Ambush people outside the theater.
That's. I would be terrified if I was in their position, but.
So what do you think of that movie?
What did you think of this movie? Did you enjoy it?
Hey,
What were your favorite parts?
Christian Bale.
I was gonna say, what up, Batman?
Where are they?
I don't know what you're talking about, sir.
I just came in for popcorn.
We saw Paw Patrol. I don't know what you want from me.
What is the symbolism that happened in this film?
There has to be a deeper meaning in this. Oh, okay.
Oh, well, that's great. Okay, so first big spoiler moment, people. We got a topless scene.
I love how he says topless scene. I love
What
that.
else? What else would you call it?
Shirtless scene.
Oh, that's
I mean-
sexist.
Genderist?
I mean, I guess you're assuming he's wearing a opposed to a tank top or a blouse or a sweatshirt.
Yes.
You're implying he's wearing a shirt
Yes.
rather than a top.
Yes.
So we're just gonna call it a half nude scene.
Okay.
I think that's better.
You know what? I'm so glad. I'm so
everyone,
glad.
we got a semi.
You know what? We got an 80-year-old taking his shirt off.
Oh no, the shirt was already off.
And these two got hot and bothered.
And damn,
Yeah.
I could feel the moisture in the air.
you were surrounded by excitement. Apparently, I wasn't going to comment on that. Jesse, by the way, wanted to. That was like the first thing he
That
said
was the
about
first thing I wanted to bring
Actually,
up.
yeah, I think that was the
it. It
first
was
thing
the
he
first
said.
thing. It was like, damn, Harrison Ford didn't have a shirt on.
Yeah.
No, most importantly, not Harrison Ford. Indiana Jones didn't have a shirt on.
That's right. Professor Jones.
Yeah.
So,
But kudos on him for being 80 years old and being like,
and
you know
being like,
what?
it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do this.
Going top.
You know what? it still at least made sense. It wasn't like him randomly having his shirt ripped off.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
that
true.
would have been weird.
By like a wheel or something.
Gust of wind.
Okay, so I'm speaking of gust of wind now, but at one point when he was hanging off the train, how the hell did his hat not come off of him?
Magnet.
Did you see Did you see the wind that was up there on that
Yeah.
Oh
train?
yeah.
His hat wasn't even moving. Like glued onto his head.
It just fits that well.
You know what? It's the hat.
It just needs to be attached. Does it have its own like
It's a
sentiment?
symbiotic relationship.
It totally is.
There's symbiotic suction that
Yeah.
occurs. Just
Now the question is this the original hat or has he ever lost his hat? And how to
good
replace
question.
it?
I would assume it's still the original hat.
But it's in such good shape.
It's amazing shape for how much shit he's been through.
Like, it doesn't even look like slightly like tarnished or beat up or slightly dusty.
Because it's an alien hat.
Because it's a symbiote.
Alien
And it just didn't like,
Regenerates
Yeah.
over time.
Well, I mean, the whip was pretty immaculate too.
Yeah.
he had
Wasn't
had it
just the hat.
polished.
He polished his
Yeah.
whip.
Yeah, he polished the whip. He greased it all up. It's good. It's fresh and shiny and new.
It also looked thicker than the last movie.
Definitely had more girth to
Yeah.
it. Yeah, it was a girthy whip.
I didn't ever really inspect his whip so much, so
Well, you
sorry, I missed that. I missed that.
You did. You did.
Missing out.
That's too bad.
You
That's too
did.
bad.
Cinematography right there.
Whoopah!
That's the sound the whip makes. Can we redo like Indiana Jones with the
Can we just
whoopah
dub that
sound?
in?
And
Whoopah!
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 Whoopah! Oh my god, that was amazing.
That would have made certain scenes very different thematically, I would say. Yeah.
Okay, so other than topless Indiana Jones,
Yeah.
So in true James Mangold fashion, we get a depressed, tired, drunk Indiana Jones because you find out through like a news article and then only later it's really said, but basically Mutt is dead.
he died in the war. He enlisted and died in the war
Yeah. And now him and Marion have separated.
because she was so distraught that, of course, the death of a child ruined their marriage. And
So like it
Well, that's his side of things. We never really got her side of things. So, I don't know.
what,
Maybe there was more to this. That's all I'm saying. All we heard was that she couldn't deal with her grief.
that's true.
Maybe
no,
maybe
what he said. She was so depressed, I couldn't console her.
That is
He
true.
did take responsibility that
Okay.
he could not help the situation, so that drove them
So I
apart.
ran away.
It wasn't bitch be crazy. It was
know.
I couldn't do anything.
Maybe he just kept leaving the toilet seat up. Who can say? We just don't know.
Understood. I mean, that totally is the same thing.
Yeah,
That should be your tattoo. BBC. Bitches be crazy.
Bitches be crazy. Yeah, but then like, what happens when like my mom asked me what it means?
Because
And
bitches be
I
crazy.
really love the BBC.
Plus, other people are going to be like, "Hey, big black cock, all right."
Wow. I didn't go there. I'm impressed.
Hey, it depends on
I
where you
forgot.
tattoo
I
it.
forgot. Yeah.
Well, it depends. Yeah, I mean, just
Where are you gonna put it? Like
tattoo it.
on your hips, or are you gonna put it on your ass, or
Tramp stamp
with an arrow, of course.
with an arrow pointing up. No,
Is it
the
gonna
arrow's
wrap
pointing-
around?
The arrow's pointing up.
No, I should just wrap around.
It just,
Oh, this conversation
It's like a reach
is
around.
terrible. What the hell?
it'll just be like, "Follow me" for BBC with a big.
It's like the Alice in Wonderland. This
Yeah.
way, that way, or down here.
I'm not gonna get "Eat Me" tattooed.
That
on there.
okay? That would some Alice in Wonderland. This way, that way. Like trait. Oh, that would be a cool tattoo.
Do you want that as a tramp stamp?
Not as a tramp stamp, just as a tattoo. Sorry,
Just
I'm trying to change the topic from
the
BBC.
"Eat Me, Drink Me."
Eat me, drink me would be pretty awesome. I like it.
Well, this is what happens when you give us a few beers at dinner and then you come home and you're like, let's have more beer.
Hey, that was a group decision.
That,
It was me doing it. I bought beer.
but yeah, so like Mutt's dead, so that
Yes.
we get the idea that Indy is in a really like terrible.
He's
place.
retiring.
He's retiring.
You can tell that the students are.
I like that. I like to see that the idea that the students just didn't give a damn anymore.
Well, so I mean,
Felt
I know
so real.
Well, so the day that it showed was the Moon Day, so they were having the
Moon Day,
the parade of the astronauts, the lunar astronauts coming back. It was awesome because Kiddo at dinner, he's like, "So can I ask you a question about history?" And I was like, "Yes." What is Moon Day? I was like, "Yeah, you probably don't know that." So that was the only way of giving the context of the time, which I think is kind of unfortunate because there's a lot of people watching this movie that wouldn't know what that is. So, also,
I just want to
American
throw out though that like, besides the one lady that had brought her kids, we were the youngest people by like 20 years.
Oh, we were by far the youngest.
I've never seen so
Kiddo
much
was the
gray
only child
there.
I know. I walked in. I was like, "Wow, it's clear who are."
It was
the
like
fans
the
right
geriatric crowd. Like,
I think it was funny that this is basically the exact same time that we saw The Flash, which was 3:00.
That is true.
The day before technically opening day, and there was far more people in the theater. Not a ton. Like, it wasn't a packed theater by any means.
No, but there was
definitely more people in the theater this time.
Yeah, there was.
Now, I mean, granted, school's out, but given the age of the people in there, I don't think school's out.
School wasn't a problem.
There was at least 30 people in this screening.
Yeah, there was way more people. I walked in.
Versus
I was like, wow.
the 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was way more people. Well, as I say, okay, my parents don't tend to go to movies anymore. And I talked to her. She already has tickets for tomorrow. For Indy.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like,
so then this shows always that
it's
age.
grabbing that
It's
age of people,
group.
though, right?
Yeah, well, I
think then they can relate.
There's that, too.
2008 was the last one.
Yep.
So yeah,
Wow, it's been that long?
and they're pretty like well beloved all around by a lot of people. So
one thing I'd like to say that I think Harrison Ford did a great job of still making, as we had mentioned a little bit earlier in the spoiler free, of making Indy still feel like Indy.
Mm-hmm.
He was still the same tried and true character.
Yeah.
He still, regardless of how they actually filmed it, still had a decent amount of action. I mean, way more than you would expect an 80-year-old person to really have. So, I mean, I know he's not... He can't actually be 80. I would love to know what they actually say his age is in the film. But I also like that he's realistic and talks about the fact, like, I'm too old for this shit.
Yeah.
Right? He talks about, like, why am I scaling a wall 40 feet in the air when, by the way, these are all the injuries that I've had.
Yeah.
I've been shot. I have plates. I have screws. I've drank the blood of Cull. I love that. He actually reminds about that.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't, it's a reminder, but not a forced reminder, because it wasn't like, guess what? Let me recount my adventures.
Yeah. It wasn't like, I'm going to say this and then turn to the camera and wink.
Right?
Kind of moment.
So I think, he was still very much himself.
Yeah.
Kiddo was surprised on how long the opening scene, what really was the opening scene, which happened, of course, right when Nazi Germany was falling, near the end there. So it was all back in the past, and how long it really was. But I think it was an interesting opening scene to really give the context for his.
Well, we've never actually seen Indiana Jones in the war.
In the war, exactly.
No, and that
he was actually in the midst of it, all of it, right?
Because we only were hinted at it in Skull.
Yeah.
So this is almost at the end of the war, so we just still don't know what he did actually in the war.
Because, I mean, point he was supposed to be doing a double agent. This one, they say they were actually looking for something, but were they looking for something on their own museum accord, or were they doing it for the government? What were they trying to do, right?
That's it. They were, when him and his partner were caught, they were, basically treated as and accused of being spies. But his partner at least seemed to go with the idea that, no, we're just here for the relic. We heard that this relic was here and it belongs in a museum, and go team archaeology,
right?
So
I love that he, as soon as the Nazi had said, he's like, "Oh, I want the power." He's like, "What are you talking about? This has no power. This is just a history thing." Like,
right?
I love that, where he just looked like, "Are you crazy?"
Right.
I thought that was
a nice touch. That was good. Yeah, that was like the science side coming out. Right. But so
I mean, the other Christian artifacts had power, but whatever.
Well, yeah.
So just so I don't lose it, but he was 70 years old in this.
Okay, so I was. That's what I thought.
Because his
That makes sense.
That made sense.
1899 is when he's
born.
was born.
Oh, okay. So, but yeah, so
Well, he's old for a 70-year-old though.
it was the whole interesting thing about that whole sequence too in the beginning was, of course, they had used CGI to de-age him, but it was still very clearly the voice of an 80-year-old man coming out of that body, which it didn't. I wouldn't say it ruined the illusion for me, but it certainly, I think, maybe took a little bit away from it.
Well, because there's sometimes it was okay, and then sometimes you're like, nope, that's like, old Indy right there.
That old man Indy right there.
Because he sounds older than he did in Skull.
Well, especially after watching the movie so close, I can really hear that voice change, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, nope, this is obviously old man Indy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, in terms of like the CGI they used for that, like it was pretty good. Like it wasn't like the image itself wasn't jarring or anything. It was just the voice, and some of his movements too were very old man movements.
You could tell a few things with the CG was it moved unnaturally in some ways.
That's true.
The way the jaw kind of elongated
when
a
he'd
bit.
turn his face or something, you'd see it.
So those little moments where you're like, oh yeah. Like some of the shots it looked really good, and you were just like, okay, I'm in it. Yeah, I'll forget the voice, but then it would like gulp weird.
Yeah.
Like
the more he moved his head around or turned, that was...
You could get more of like the PlayStation graphics.
Yeah.
Right? Like the video game graphics.
Well, as I say, I felt like I was watching one of your video games.
Yeah. So, the one place that bothered me with the computer graphics was the train running. Like when and it was so far away that it shouldn't have looked so weird as it did, but it looked too flowy.
I know what you're talking about.
Like, it looked like a 2D animation.
Yeah,
almost.
it looks
like it
more.
It was all elongated and like
a little too much flash-like.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't.
You can't see him when he's enacting.
Is the Flash going to be our like go-to now for just like shit?
If we're gonna compare it, that's the low bar. If it's better than the Flash, we're already ahead of things. If it's worse than the Flash, Lord helps.
Like any CGI from now on is going to be compared.
Well, Jesse had like PTSD when the trailer came on the pre-show. He's like, "Oh my god, I have to see this."
I thought we were going to have to see the babies again.
The baby scene again.
I was like, oh god, I'm not ready for this. It's too soon.
It's okay, Jesse. It's okay.
We should just go buy.
It was just Batman.
Can we go buy some baby doll things?
Yes.
And just like
hang them outside of his window? Yes.
Why do you put so much effort into making me sad?
Because just us being here makes you happy. So you know what? You have to try really hard to make you sad.
I am really tempted to be like, Steve, can you put Jesse in this Flash onesie? And we're going to hang babies around him and see what happens when we wake up.
I don't think we need to involve Steve in this.
Oh, I think we do.
I think that'd be amazing. What would you do if you just woke up and there was babies hanging from your ceiling and you looked down and you were in a Flash onesie?
We can get one of the Flash bibs. I want to say it might be hard to do.
Your first mistake is assuming that I'd be waking up. Because that implies that I went to sleep. Yeah.
Chloroform.
Well, okay.
Oh, yeah.
So,
well,
rousing
we know,
from my drug-induced state.
We know we have to involve Steve with chloroform. We've already talked about that.
So, rousing from my drug-induced state, I see babies hanging from the ceiling. I'm in a Flash onesie. What's the first thing I do?
Curse
Probably,
Mike?
Fuck you, Mike.
Seems accurate.
Yeah. I think that's the go-to right there. Because literally, who else?
Curse you,
Who
Mike?
else? Radke!
You have no idea how I want this to happen now. Where can I get chloroform?
I think I'll be editing this out of the podcast. Where can I get chloroform? I repeat.
Ooh, that should be the title of the episode.
Where can I get chloroform?
Indiana Jones and Where Can I Get Chloroform?
Oh,
Can you just imagine though? Like that's gonna be my goal now. I'm just gonna like sneak attack Jesse, chloroform, and he's gonna wake up in a different costume.
That's the Instagram tag. Find out why Mike wants chloroform.
Yeah.
Of course, there'll be some, couple of wild Justimus Prime pics first.
Of course.
In various poses that you choose. Just being on a park bench is like...
It's like a weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah. Well, we know what's happening this summer. Okay.
Oh, boy. So back to the movie.
Okay,
My safety aside.
That whole scene, though, was pretty cool, though. Like, that whole...
Which one?
The opening scene.
Okay.
That's what I was talking about.
Oh, that's what we're back at.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those whole train fight scenes, they have a tendency sometimes to be a little bit... to run a little long or be a little bit repetitive or just like...
I love the giant machine gun, Gatling gun thing going off that just
was
killed
cool.
all the Nazis. That was amazing.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
I liked when the simplicity, though, of like him walking into the room being like, there's too many Nazis.
And we're done.
And then he walked into another room and there was just like Nazis eating. He was just like, well, shit, now I gotta sit and eat with Nazis.
Yeah. Yeah, he did a great job of just blending in and just rolling with whatever he
I loved how he got seen, though, was the fact that he had a uniform that had blood.
Yeah.
Bullet hole through it. Yeah.
So the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
So there's you know what? Okay, so one thing that you enjoyed but wasn't really in this one was there wasn't a lot of problem solving. There wasn't a lot of puzzles.
So when they did have those problem solving, I really loved it. So I'm going to jump all the way to the end when they actually had some more problem solving. Finding the different, finding the location of their little tablet map thing, the riddle, which we cannot for the life of us remember what it's called. And then solving, of course, when they get into...
The Grimlock.
Oh, yeah.
Grimlock.
Jesse named it the Grimlock.
Yes.
When we hear it, we're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, I thought it was something graph. Something. It was something graph.
Graph. Graph.
Stop guessing. Things.
There was a G. It was a G.
It was a graph thing.
Gorokov.
It is not. Sir, it was a
Gorbachev.
It was
Gorbachev. It was the Gorbachev.
It's a graphic. Oh, good gracious.
Graphic?
Graphlex?
Graphlex.
Yes.
Smoked salmon. They had to find the smoked salmon.
You know what? All of you suck. But I loved when they had to go in, when they were solving that problem and then going into the cave and solving the booby traps that were in there and the riddles with that and all the Greek mythology stuff. Oh my God.
That was cool.
Made me so damn excited.
That was something I've been waiting for the whole movie, so I was really happy too when they finally got more into
with
that.
all the statue of Athena and learning more about with that him understanding what it could possibly mean and decoding and them speaking in Latin and all these different ciphers and all of that. Oh my God, that made me so excited. So excited.
Mm-hmm.
But the only problem with that scene was the fact that here he says that they're smelling methane and she was dying and he was totally fine. He's immune to smelling methane. I mean, there's an old man joke in there somewhere.
Well, that's like I said, the old men, they produce a lot of methane. So
yeah.
He probably was used to it.
That's terrible. Were you trying to show us the word?
I don't know.
No, Wild Dismiss Prime.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you're on social media while you're recording the podcast. I see.
Wow.
We're
Wild
really,
Dismiss Prime? That shit's elusive.
Is it though? I mean, don't you have a whole highlight reel of them now?
I do.
Did you make one? Sweet.
He did. He actually did.
Yeah. If I had my old account, it would be bigger than it is. So
yeah, that's what
she said.
I would like to know how that would work. Okay, but yeah, so I really did like that. I don't know. I lost my train of thought. Someone else pick something up. Mike, get off your phone and be part of the podcast.
I am.
So, have you still found the graph locks or whatever?
The graph locks? The graph locks?
Yes.
Isn't that like...
It's nothing. It is random words.
Gargamel.
I'm gonna take your phone.
I'm
Can you tell that we're just throwing stuff at the microphone?
No, I don't remember what it was. It begins with a G, but
I know you had your phone the whole damn time and you still haven't found it?
What am I supposed to put in? What was Indiana Jones looking for in the Dial of Destiny?
Yes. It's just gonna be...
Well, he was looking for the Dial of Destiny.
Archimedes style.
Yes.
Okay, so bring it back to the whole Archimedes thing. super nerd brain over here was super excited about all that because like the idea of the mathematician and the perfection of it and like I loved all of that. I also loved at the end that Indy was right. So let's just jump to the end and talk about this whole thing. When Schmidt was going towards the portal that he had decided that it was all like set. Math is always right, but the idea
Continental drift,
something that was not there at the beginning, that Archimedes wouldn't have known about. It was a variable that was not been accounted for. And I thought that was really, really cool because you and me argue all the time about I say math is just a straight perfect thing. And you're like, but what if? And I'm like, ah! So this is the but what if? What if there's a variable?
So you're saying I'm like Indiana Jones.
There you go. But what if there's a variable we don't know?
Mm-hmm.
And that hurts my soul. Like, so hurts my soul to say that. But it does make sense. And I love how sure Indy was about that. And I love that the scientists finally realized, like, no, I don't know everything. I don't know for certain that this is 100% correct.
Yeah.
Shit, Indy's probably right. But then it was too late to deal with it. And I love that he was right.
What do we all think, though, that we time traveled in this movie?
Well, I mean, so okay, given the trailer and how much we saw of like young Indy, there was a little bit of suspicion that there might be some kind of time travel, that maybe this isn't all just flashbacks. Maybe there is going to be some kind of time travel. At least for me, there was some speculation on that. When we first got introduced to the idea of the dial, they were a little bit vague as to what exactly it did. Like, we knew that whatever power it possessed was supposed to, make you extremely powerful. I think they said it would make you godlike, basically. But we wait.
But what other godlike powers are like controlling
exactly?
Situation, right?
So we didn't really know precisely what it did until later on in the movie, which actually I kind of appreciated how they kind of like just breadcrumbed that a little bit and tell you. So I mean, essentially, what this Dial of Destiny does is it kind of indicates where these like portals that
time fissures.
Yeah, that's right. They were called time fissures, that are kind of like weakening, these little weakened barriers in the space-time continuum that allow you to basically travel in time. Now, fortunately, the actual time traveling took place kind of very much towards the end of the film because, as I said, I was not looking forward to like a time traveling montage where we were visiting, every era. I didn't want
all of Indy's favorite times.
Yeah, I didn't want to see like Indy popping in and just like taking
wait. Head through.
Oh
Head
God!
No.
Oh God! That was like being birthed out of a rhino's butt, but in space and time. That was terrible. No, you didn't want to see him like popping up behind Leonardo da Vinci and just like adding one final brushstroke and then just giving him like the finger guns and taking off or something like that.
Oh, that would have been. I might have walked out. Yeah,
yeah, that would have been terrible.
I feel like that spoof needs to happen though now.
Yeah,
Indy through history.
But
yep. So
that being said, the fact that there was time travel, I actually quite enjoyed it. I mean, I think that the way that it happened and the reaction of the locals to
the dragon,
all of a sudden seeing these dragons in the sky and these.
It was a very legitimate response.
Yeah, I think
they tried immediately to shoot it down.
Yeah,
they freaked out. It was what the hell is this?
And I loved it wasn't that they weren't all just terrified. It's like, oh fuck, the enemy has dragons, we gotta fucking shoot them down right now.
Yes,
right?
Right?
Like, that was great.
It wasn't like the run and what is this and
it's
screaming.
Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
They were just rolling with it, but it was just another enemy thing, right?
I find it weird though.
So now we know where the mythology of dragons comes from.
There you go. Yeah.
Most importantly.
Totally. That idea though that like, the Ark was so like localized and was just like they opened it and like people's heads exploded. The second one was all just like fiery hearts. The third one really just was like, oh, this liquid's gonna heal you. Then we got aliens and giant like, interdimensional portals and like
And then we went to time travel.
And then we got time travel.
Yeah, it's so different because it was so religious based for the first three,
Yeah.
right? And then it was technically religion, but it was science fiction religion
Yeah.
for the Crystal Skulls, right?
Yeah.
We created the religion out of it, but it was something science based. And then this here is just a whole nother level of just pure science. There's no belief, there's no faith in it. And it was interesting to hear Indy say, I don't believe in magic, but I do believe that people believe in things.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so it was the power of belief,
Yeah.
which implies the religious aspect opposed to math. And so now when I say this out loud, it makes it feel like math is a religion. And
It is.
makes me twinge
It's a belief.
inside.
Yes.
It's not a belief, it's a fact.
It's a belief.
It's a fact.
It was created by man.
It was not... Are you fucking kidding me?
It was created by woman?
I don't
It
give a
was
shit
created by
about
beings.
that. Not gender. I'm caring about creating things.
But it was created by man.
I can't argue with
do
you.
we just go on like a whole other direction from this? But
This is an argument that we have in our house.
one thing I will say about the time travel though is I did like.
He's like, some time travel.
Well, is I did like that it wasn't just, hey, this guy built a time machine and now we can go back in time. It was like there was an actual explanation and a more scientific basis for why this thing allowed you to travel through.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a phone booth.
It wasn't.
Well, and the reality was what they
You're like, whoa.
Let's not
phone
go.
booth DeLorean, fucking cool. Get out if you're gonna throw those
I
under
didn't
the
say it
bus.
wasn't
Yeah,
cool.
you know what's not a cool way of time travel? Running. Not a cool way of time travel.
Okay, well said.
Track and field. Ooh.
But they did say though that the realization was that this die was to bring people back.
Yes, that was an interesting revelation.
It wasn't a time travel to go anywhere you wanted. It was to bring them to help.
Yes.
So if they had,
It was to call
if they
for
had
help.
calculated for the continental drift, would they still have ended up there? Because that was literally the only place that was meant to take them.
Mm-hmm.
Is the question.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of things here we haven't even fleshed out with that. Like with what he said. That was the place. It was basically a focal point to, it was like an antenna,
Mm-hmm.
a radio signal out
Yeah.
for that. Yeah, that's really interesting.
So I don't think it actually is meant to have you go where you want.
It's not a time travel.
No.
It's
It's,
to pull you back to Archimedes' time.
yeah.
Which is interesting because I'm glad you said that because I was going to bring that up too, but he beat me to it. Jerk.
But this took me back. This reminded me of some of the novels. Some of the novels were like super science fiction, where they were like
right.
not in the same realm of the movies, right?
Yeah.
So, because at the time when the novels came out, there was only 3 movies.
So I was very torn about, I understood why Indy wanted to stay there and experience that, because here he is, having been obviously very obsessed with this time period and this battle. It showed how well he knew it with her being able to recite his lesson on it. And here he has the opportunity to actually visually see it. But it was very much a giving up. It was very much, he knew he was going to die, and it was like, well, I might as well go out dying at something I love to see.
Yeah.
And experiencing it, right? So I was kind of torn because I was like, well, I don't really want him to just be like, this is how they end the Indy films with like, well, he was lost in the past, so I guess we can't do any more. Versus him actually being stuck there and dying and like dealing that inevitable thing. And, you could tell how much she really cared and realized that, well, shit, I kind of fucked up this relationship and I'm not as cold-hearted as I want to be.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that she punched him in the face because she couldn't convince him was just so on brand and so perfect.
So real.
And like you're not going to convince it at some point. Shit, we got to make a decision.
Yeah.
And we're not going to be able to tell
running out of time.
Yeah. There is a finite time. That was the most stubborn that he was. And it was because
But he wasn't even ornery about it.
He wasn't ornery. He was very calm and peaceful. He was just
because he
depressed.
knew he was dying.
Yeah, he was just depressed.
Not only that, did he know he was dying, but I think if you notice or if you realize that he for the first time in probably a very long time since the death of his son, since the death of his, he's in awe and appreciative of everything that is happening around him. Like he
could feel emotion again.
Yeah, it was like he was in this amazing place where it wasn't just this mundane existence where everything
is the depression,
everything hurts and everything sucks, and it's like this is the stuff that I've only dreamed about. These are the legends right in front
and
of
then when he came back, I think the acting as well for Harrison Ford, when she had said, well, I brought you back and you're supposed to be here, and he said, but why, basically? Like, who am I here for? And he almost just a little bit had the choked up. I thought that was such a subtle, beautiful job of acting, of emotion, where it was such a, I think because we still don't tend to see emotion in men in film. And the reality that his life had just been destroyed, and he was so broken and he felt no reason to keep going. Now he doesn't have a job. He doesn't have his teaching. He doesn't have his son. He doesn't have his wife. You know, he felt there was no connection to his past. He just saw a bunch of people that he cared about die. Like, there's a lot of shit going on. And it was just so subtle and so well delivered. I didn't expect to be crying at the end of an Indiana Jones film, and yet here I was.
When Marion shows back up, it's very heartwarming.
Yeah. And I loved how the same she was. Yeah. She was very cavalier and just like, I'm here. What are you gonna do about it?
Yeah.
And I loved that. It wasn't her falling over. She was still so in character.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
It's really hard now to talk about the gay party boat after that, like, really heartwarming, description of it.
I was going to say we could get there eventually, but now you just threw that in there. So gay party boat.
No. Let's keep going.
You had to just say, you couldn't just keep your thoughts in.
No. You can't just throw something like gay party boat out there and then expect them not to be like, tell me more.
Okay, let me finish my heartwarming, real thought.
But like, we need to like backtrack to that.
I know.
So.
I know. You ruined it. I was all like on an emotional soapbox, and
so Marion comes back.
I love that they reenacted the Raiders scene with the what hurts all over, and I love that so much.
Yeah,
and
it was pretty adorable.
It was adorable, right?
Yeah.
And my son was he laughed at me. I asked him how my makeup was afterwards. He's like, were you crying?" I was like, "Damn right, I was crying. It was adorable." So
well, it's interesting too because like, then they show the hat and then he pulls the hat in, so like. Are they hoping to make more?
Well, as I say, with her thing, they told me you were back. Are you back?
Yeah.
And I like that because there's a lot of, if I take it outside the context of like the film.
Yeah.
Okay. For everyone's sake, I don't think they're going to be making more indie films because at some point he might die halfway through filming and shit will hit the fan. Yeah. So let's be honest.
Because Harrison Ford is 81 in July.
Yeah, like kudos on him for being able to make this film. And but oh my gosh. So, but the idea of being back could still just mean, are you back to the point where you are alive again?
Yeah.
And we, maybe she felt the same. To your point, that was only one half of the story. Maybe she had felt that he had become numb and couldn't actually be there. Yeah. So maybe some invigoration in his life and some care and some spark, because that's what she would have been attracted to.
Yeah.
He cared so passionately about things. And if he had that again, then maybe that's why she had actually said that, right? So I'm trying to look at it as just more of the marriage and relationships thing with that. So
I feel it's a double entendre, right? Or it's like what you're saying, but I think there is
a meaning.
They like put it there just in case this one does well enough that they're like, do we have time?
Yeah.
So the hat grab at the end.
Yeah.
Like that, I mean...
Oh, no, she just wanted that for
that was just a sex thing.
That's what I was thinking.
High five!
I didn't want to say it. I was like, how do I say this delicately? But thank you. You just threw it out on the table for me. That's exactly what this is the first thing that went in my head, like, oh my God.
I was like, she wanted the hat back. She was like, I ain't kissing you anymore.
Who doesn't want the hat?
We're going topless again, that's all.
It's just the hat, nothing else, baby.
Oh, yeah. Oh, maybe the whip.
He doesn't need the whip. He's got a whip.
Wow, I'm a little hot and bothered right now, actually. Damn.
Whoopah!
I mean, who doesn't want to hear that in the bedroom?
I know, right? Damn. Don't ever say that.
Whoopah.
No. It's just, no. you save it for the climax. You don't just do every one's a whoop.
Every single one's a whoopah.
Oh god.
Oh, Katie, you're a lucky one.
Oh, so lucky.
Every once in a while there's a whoopah.
What's worse is like I can actually try to imagine this, which is just more terrible. This leads perfectly into the gay party boat. We're already
Very
talking about
nice.
sex.
Okay, so Antonio Banderas runs a ship with like a ton of topless sailors, as Jesse puts it.
Yes.
Yeah. Like,
Every sailor was like no shirt.
They're in the
beefy,
Mediterranean. Why would you wear
tattooed,
shirts?
like bronzed.
I mean, I know you guys wish you were there, but like, damn.
But it was just hilarious to see that one guy that was like stupidly jacked and like 70 years old
Yeah.
and like just being like hanging out with the kid and being like, hey, you like my pecs? Like
They were old school scuba divers.
it really not that it was anything wrong that they were
Yeah, it wasn't
gay.
saying-
Oh
Yeah.
no, of
It
course
wasn't
not.
a derogatory
But like
thing.
it was like it felt like it was an unsaid thing. Like it was just like
Well, it probably was.
yeah, oh yeah. But
Like if,
I just kept
if
hearing-
techno music had been a thing,
it would have been a dance
there would
party.
have been dancing.
Well, Jesse, you didn't even realize it was Antonio Banderas. Until
I
you
did
saw the
not. I
credits.
didn't even realize until I saw the.
You know,
credits.
honestly, I knew he was gonna be in the movie, but I didn't realize it was him until after they got like further onto the boat.
Oh, okay.
Like
Yeah.
when they first like saw him, I didn't
see
realize
it
it was him, right?
Well, I saw him and I was like, he looks familiar. And my
Yeah,
first,
me
my
too.
first thought was I supposed to know him from another movie?
Yes.
That was my first
That
thought.
was my thought too. Yeah.
And I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
he seems familiar, but I don't know why. And then I looked and I was like, wait a second. And then I heard him. I was like, holy crap, it's Puss in Boots. And then I couldn't unhear it.
But yeah,
Because
yeah,
that's what he sounds like now.
yeah.
You know.
See, I don't think I've seen Puss in Boots, so that's probably why I don't.
You've
have
never seen
Puss.
Shrek?
I've seen Shrek, but I've never seen the. I thought you meant the Puss in Boots movie.
No,
It's
just
the same
Puss in
character.
Boots
Oh, okay.
from Shrek.
Okay.
Yeah. That's it.
No, I've seen Shrek.
Sure
It's okay.
too.
So, yeah, of course.
Okay. Well, then you've seen Puss in Boots.
Yes, I have. I know.
There you go.
I'm saying.
I've never seen Puss in Boots. I have zero reason to see that movie.
I'm saying I haven't seen the actual movie. Puss in
Actually, like
Boots.
apparently, like the last Puss in Boots movie has like a stupid like 98%
Oh,
Rotten
we don't know what
Tomato.
we're watching now.
Just saying,
Let's
like, it's
watch
like
that. Antonio Banderas, that shit.
Yeah.
The Last Wish or something. Like it's like ridiculously highly
We're
rated.
gonna watch some really awesome pussy.
Oh.
I don't know, but like apparently it's decently good.
Like Paddington the Bear.
Yeah, so like, do you know that Paddington Bear has like a 99 on Rotten Tomatoes?
Really?
It's like one of
Yeah.
the highest rated films ever.
Like the live action
Yeah.
one? Huh.
And like the second one is like 97 or 98.
I kind of want to
Good
watch
God.
it just to see,
Yeah.
like, morbid curiosity.
Yeah.
Let's get stoned and watch it.
That's
Maybe he'll
weird.
pop out of the screen at us. It'll be amazing.
I don't know if you want a bear to pop out of the screen at you at any
But
point.
Paddington's nice looking. He's not scary.
Not a scary bear. He's a Care Bear.
Anyways, back to the.
But yes.
movie.
So you mentioned with as part of the gay party boat, the kid.
That's a weird transition. That's fantastic. So the kid on the gay party boat.
Well, just because I feel like I need to point out that kid committed straight up murder
He did.
in the cave.
He did.
Like
Oh yeah, that was hard.
that was straight up like, oh, okay.
I know, and I was like,
Oh, wait.
yes,
Wow.
fuck yes.
Okay, so I
Kill
was
the
actually
big bad Nazi.
I was really sad though that the Nazi guy didn't get like chopped up by a blade though.
or something.
Like
Yeah.
a like a
He deserves
propeller
to be
blade.
kicked. Yeah, but he was so big, he wasn't gonna go. Like drowning is just like.
is such a peaceful way to die. Like he just deserves so much more.
right, but like
Is
yeah,
it really peaceful?
not when you're
Apparently it's like going
chained to
sleep.
something.
Not when you're chained up. Probably
He would have been panicking a lot.
Nah, he was too stoic for that.
But yeah, you're right. The kid like handcuffs him to a grate.
Handcuffs him to a grate
I was just-
underwater.
Just fucking
Yeah.
I
kudos
was
on
like,
that kid.
whoa!
I was so proud of
That
him.
was like
That
when
was
we went back to,
hardcore.
there was actually some like hardcore deaths in this.
There was a
There
lot
were
of
some
friends
hardcore
dying.
deaths.
so
the shots.
wait, so how did Mad Mikkelsen's character survive that?
That was such a terrible hit. Why did he have no scars? His
Yeah,
whole
that's a good
fucking
question.
face was taken off almost.
Yeah.
It hit him right in the head.
Right? Like, that was one of those ones where it's like, after
I
I
mean,
was
you
like,
could hear it. It was terrible.
how did he not get all messed up?
So do you think he actually recognized Indy's
I don't think he did. I don't think he did.
It was interesting because he either acted really well, but when he looked at the picture in the file,
that's what I was going to say.
still
Like, in the
had a
file, he
bit-
had a moment of like,
But he didn't seem nearly as angry as you would expect him to be, but he still had the, oh wait, it's him. And I couldn't decide.
I wonder, though, if he doesn't actually know who he is.
Yeah.
Right? Because of the
He
fact
was
that
so
maybe he has a bit of amnesia.
I mean, it would make, there was something at least,
Yeah.
but I mean, he wouldn't really have seen him that well. So
And that, I guess, is the consent, like the takeaway then is he's actually like messed
actual
up
head damage.
versus like
Brain damage is the word I'm looking for.
yeah.
yeah.
That's the
So
only
that
one.
explains.
But
he was not a nice guy. Mads Mikkelsen's character.
I don't think he really is in any movie.
No.
He just plays a really good villain. He has a good villain face.
He does.
He's only been like somewhat good in like Rogue One.
I was very confused at first with the combination of him and the Nazi group, obviously, and then the CIA involved in there, trying to figure out who was who and who
That was a little
bad.
messy.
It was garbled with the agent,
like,
right?
He said, okay, so I think they kind of dropped a few breadcrumbs that he had been working for the government,
Yeah.
and he was
He had the
integral to like
mercenaries.
the space
Using
program.
math to get to
Using math
space.
Okay, sure.
What was that face?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Because you were math
Sometimes
people
he just
math.
does things.
I know. He just likes to
just have
throw
to
it in my
accept
face that I like math. Yeah, he used math to get to space.
But yeah, and then he was supposed to meet the president.
Presidente.
And yeah, so there was an implication that there was some kind of relationship with him and the government. Now, why he was allowed to have like his own goons? Because the CIA agent at one point was even like, "You're not even a real agent. Like, you shouldn't be doing this."
Well, you could tell the guy, the crutch, was the CIA as well.
Yeah, so
and it was like, you're not an agent. Why are you doing this? And so, why did they keep allowing them to continuously break the law?
Yeah.
Like, so what level? Because obviously they knew they were still tracking her and tracking the dial. So then there's some commentary on how the U.S. government is not really any better than any other government. That they're still all in it for selfish means.
Are you saying the U.S. government is a bunch of Nazis?
I wouldn't go that far, but maybe fascists.
Okay.
The next election, yes.
Nazis coming up, yes. Don't worry, they're strong.
Ugh.
But yeah, it's just a shift of power, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the Nazis were just a name for people who wanted power. Let's be honest. So
Yeah.
and it's just that power hungry, wanting to control things, all of that sort of stuff, and just doing it in the idea of righteousness. That always turns out well for every group of people that does something in the name of trying to control and keep power. Yeah, so that was a bit muddled at the beginning.
Yeah.
Of who was who and what was going on, and then once enough people started dying, then you really could clearly see, you're like, oh yeah, okay,
right,
bad guys clearly kind of caught up and doing some shady shit. Okay, gotcha. You know.
I thought his philosophy was a little bit interesting. That it wasn't the Nazis that lost the war; it was Hitler that lost the war, and so ultimately.
No, it was the Americans who won the war. It was Hitler who lost the war.
Yeah. So ultimately, that was his goal, like to get the dial and go back in time. It was to actually kill Hitler, which I thought was bizarre, because normally, you with time travel, like you have the stories of the good guys who want to go back and kill Hitler. You don't usually have the bad guy wanting to go back and kill Hitler. But it made sense given his philosophy.
He makes a very good point.
Yes.
And I do believe that Hitler stood in the way of winning the war, because he had gone so crazy so concerned about the relics and the power. He had, at some level, the hatred that he started could have grown exponentially, as it still has shown how powerful it still is.
Yeah.
But he was so focused on chasing Wild Goose Chase and trying to find all these occults. And all of this, that it was almost, he tried to focus it too much rather than letting it run wild. And I think he got in his own way, which was a really interesting theory, right?
Well, yeah, that idea that he was literally wanting to go back and kill Hitler and take his place.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah, but I mean, it legitimately makes sense
Yeah.
of why he had basically stopped thinking grand enough, right?
yeah.
So I thought that was interesting.
Or
I mean,
he got too big. He got too wild and outlandish.
well, too wild, yeah. Yeah, I guess there is that too.
I looked at Jesse and said, I was like, I'm honestly surprised they didn't have the balls to have them travel to the future and like set the motion of like the new Nazi agenda.
Yeah.
That like is like currently happening in the United States.
He actually just like transplanted himself to the future and started the new Hitler regime.
Yeah.
No.
I was waiting for that to happen. Honestly, when Indy says, we're not going where you think we're going, and they like would have like flew into like 2017.
full Hitler garb or Nazi garb, and
I didn't know what to expect with that when he Indy plants that idea that we're not going to end up where we think we're going to end up.
Yeah.
You know, I really was like,
I was so worried that he was going to be wrong.
I don't know where this is going to go.
Right?
Where are we going to actually end up? And I mean, there was that moment of, I mean, yeah, maybe he could be right. Maybe Archimedes did account for that, or maybe that's not as important to.
I was waiting for that because I'm like, look, and I'm like, well, there's a big fucking hole in the sky.
Well,
We're
that's what
obviously
I'm
time
thinking,
traveling.
right?
But then with that idea, that, okay, wait, no.
Excuse me.
The idea is he's not going to be traveling to the spot that he thinks he's going to be.
Yeah.
There is a portal there. Yes, it is there. But then now learning, though, that all the portals, because the guy never would have been able to test anything, that they all led back to that. Like, how would he possibly have known where he was going to go?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that confused me because I'm like, why is he so convinced this is not going to work when there's a big glowy hole in the sky?
Yeah.
Like,
well, then also, too, though, why would Schmidt have said, well, I knew exactly how to set the time of exactly where to go? Where was his little DeLorean dial that said what day he was going to go back to?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I had blind faith.
I was thinking, because I think
in math.
what I was thinking when he was saying, your coordinates are going to be off or whatever. I was thinking coordinates of where to find
where it was
the
exactly,
portal, not where the portal is going to take you, right?
Right, and I looked and I was like,
that's why I was confused.
That looks pretty good right there.
No, we're seem to be going on track. Like it's like, and then we're like seconds away from the hole, and he's still saying we're not going to go, and it's like, but it's right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like how long it took to realize that something was wrong too. You know, here they are flying through the clouds and like everything's the same, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, you see a war, and then you had that moment where like, oh, they're still fighting. Wait, nope.
As it gets clearer.
Then all of a sudden there's sails, and you're like, oh shit.
All of a sudden, all I hear beside me is that a catapult?
Yeah. Kiddo laughed, and I was like, yeah, you found it. You saw it too. Like, wait a second.
Yeah. I love when she opens up the door and drops all the Nazis, and the one guy's like, save me. She's like, sorry, bud, you're a Nazi.
Right? I love that.
That made me happy. That made me so happy.
Yep.
Oh.
Kiddo was so upset that the guy was using the machine gun.
Yeah.
On the plane. Like, it was hilarious. He was so frustrated with him. It's like, why are you doing this? I'm like, well, because he likes to shoot people.
He shoot people all movie.
And he's scared, and he's just been the angriest person in the whole movie. So why would he not do that? Like,
but got to
he did kill people.
Got to see a Nazi take a trebuchet right to the chest.
Oh, that was one of the best deaths in a movie.
Yeah. That was pretty cool.
You know, we haven't talked at all about the chase scene in
Fast and the Furious Morocco edition.
Basically,
yes. The Tangiers Tuk fiasco. I don't know. I was trying to think of another T.
But that scene did go on really long.
It was a long chase.
And then when you thought it was over, when the car broke down, wait,
there's more.
You can fix it, and there's more.
Yeah, that was one of those scenes that was one of those ones that went on way too long.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I think because there was like 3 parties involved, right? Like it wasn't just one party chasing another.
Yeah.
It was a 3-way.
It was.
It was a love triangle.
It was a love triangle, kind of. Yeah.
Like, I know you had said too, like, you're very confused with why she was actually running this said auction when she seemed like she wasn't welcome. Like, how did she like sneak in and plan this like multinational black market auction and run this thing and then be like, oh, whoops, I wasn't supposed to be here.
Right.
And then I do love though that you have the mobster son there who shows up and is so angry, and it's like, oh, you shouldn't be on our turf, basically is what he sounds like. But then it really is just he's just love struck and sad and heartbroken, and it was the why aren't you coming back?
Yeah.
And it was quite funny because he did play the sad person, not the angry. He was sad, right? So
yeah. I think you need one of those bike cars.
The tuk-tuks?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, everybody needs a tuk-tuk.
I think.
why do we not have those more?
I don't know. Like, they just seem like they'd be fun.
Right?
I don't know.
Right.
Vancouver seems like a place that might need them pretty soon.
Apparently, according to the movie, you can just drive the hell out of them through
Hills and
gunfire,
stairs
hills, bumps, tight corners, scrapes. And they're fine until the very end of the chase, and then they break down.
And then you can fix it with gum.
And then you can fix it with gum. So
Specifically Moroccan gum.
Moroccan gum, yes, specifically. But that was crazy. Like, there was so much like car jumping and like just I will say very good use of the surroundings and the scenery. Like, it wasn't just
It wasn't boring to watch.
it wasn't a boring one. It wasn't just like a drag race where it was about going faster than the other guy. Like, it wasn't
too
intense.
furious.
It was not too furious.
Yeah, okay.
It was fast.
You notice he
But it was
came
not
back and like
furious.
insulted drag?
What?
He was so intently like.
What did he insult?
Drag racing, not
I was like, what? How did I
I'm
miss
always
that?
going to give him a hard time for
drag.
that.
The other drag.
Wow. You just
The
shit
other-
disturber right
yeah.
there. Like, just looking for a problem, huh? You're looking to pick a fight? Yeah.
Well,
You just gotta let it go, man.
Just don't engage.
Don't
engage.
Okay.
Don't make eye contact.
Don't make eye contact.
Yeah.
Apparently, I'm not needed anymore. But yeah, that scene was fun. There was a lot of really cool action moments within that scene, but it did feel long, similar to the Crystal Kingdom
Yes.
longness of like just.
I thought it was funny that Indy, they're like, oh no, let him drive. He knows it. He's like, screw that. I know Tangiers.
Yeah.
Like, and he actually did know his way around. It wasn't like, it was like, oh crap, I'm just trying to be like stubborn about it. No,
Yeah.
he really was honest.
Yeah.
He knew how to get around.
That was cool.
And I thought that was really cool. Like, I liked that he still had his confidence. He wasn't like this feeble old man.
Yeah.
I did really enjoy that.
Speaking about that though, like those were the things I really enjoyed about the film though.
Yeah.
Where it was like those moments where it was just like you're still really likable and you're still worthwhile.
Yeah, they did.
Character.
They did such a good job of still keeping him, what you really liked about the character to begin with, right?
Yeah, I never once didn't feel like I was watching Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Or like so frustrated by it. And that's one thing though that is a fairly good constant throughout the entirety of the series.
Yeah, he doesn't really change, right?
Yeah. It's his surroundings that change.
Yeah.
So.
And it's funny because normally you want your characters to evolve and change and grow, but not this guy.
But he did though, right? He showed more, like Last Crusade. He showed a lot more emotion.
That's
he did have some more gruff and some more wear and tear on him. And then this one here really showing that age and that regret that can come with it. I mean, I loved that whole scene again with what would you do if you could go back in time? Here she was
that was
what can you go and experience and what would you do? And it was like for him it was something so simple yet so poignant. And
that was
so
an emotional
personal.
scene.
And that was emotional. It was like, holy shit.
Out of everything you could do, you would just go back and try to convince your son not to enlist.
Like, damn, because that was the butterfly effect of like what all it did, the catalyst for everything that it changed.
Yeah.
And that is, when you really think about it, what would you go back and change? Would you actually go back and look at something, or would you actually look back and try to fix your biggest regret? Right? And for him, he's been through so much shit, and he knows all the bad parts of history, and yet that was a thing that really mattered to him, right? And yeah,
sure
that was
he
so well done.
must have become a decent father then.
Yeah. There's obviously a connection there, and they had a good family. And as much as he said, but at the same time, he said he enrolled to piss him off, though.
Yeah.
So where did that go, right? Like, what reason? Why would he have done that?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Like,
I do a lot of things to piss you off just because, like...
Because you can, I know.
Yeah, I do a lot to piss him off.
Just to test limits, right?
Yeah.
I know, I get that, right? So, you know, and because obviously he was still young enough to believe he was invincible. We know that that's how he was in Crystal Skull. Why would he have really done it differently?
He needed to prove something. He was always trying to prove something. So
I think, I mean, there was a really good acting chops on Harrison Ford. Just that reminder, though, that even at his age, and so much of his is more action star, really, when you think about it. But even between Star Wars and then this, like...
He was in Star Wars?
Oh, God. This is not even going to comment. So well done, right? I can't even look at him.
It was just like a bit background part.
It came to me.
Yeah. He plays this random smuggler.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Just this weird little tiny ship, and, you know, it's kind of just a bit part, you know.
Yeah. Completely throwaway.
Okay.
That's throwaway.
Justin's crying right now.
We're talking about the Solo movie, right?
Oh. Get out of my house, Justin.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't mind Solo.
I didn't either.
I didn't mind Solo.
Well, now you get out of my house.
That's got quite the sordid past, eh?
I would like to watch it again.
The fact that, you know, Lord and Miller were supposed to direct it, then they were fired, and then
Yeah, that was crazy.
Then Ron Howard stepped in and had to finish it with what was
You know what? That conversation is you saying that, weird ass flashback to driving in LA. I remember specifically talking about this movie, not in LA. We were in Northern California, and we were in San Jose area, and I specifically remember talking about this.
Yeah.
On the freeway in San Jose. That's weird.
Yeah.
Super weird.
And then Ron Howard gets all the flack for not succeeding, but he only had like a really short period of time to be able to actually complete the film.
Right.
So, and use the stuff that they'd already kind of filmed, and then they had to like then build off of it, and then...
And History of Film by Mike.
Donald Glover did a great job, though, as Lando.
Well, how could he not? He's Donald Glover.
That's true. They're still talking about possibly a Lando series with him.
Really?
Yeah. So.
I wouldn't be opposed.
I love...
Only if he says Dundas to Bibliotheca.
I was going to say, when is the Bibliotheca going to be?
But he is coming back to the Community movie.
Oh, good.
That is actually happening?
Yeah, it only got shut down because of the writer's strike.
Okay.
It was like literally like ready to go.
We had a super mellow moment here. I'm just watching like the sound, and like most of the time we're like taking the whole sound bar, and that was like the most minuscule like little mellow break going on. We're just like, yeah, we're cool, man. It's like the weed just kicked in or something. That's what it sounded like.
You know what we need? Wow, wow, wow.
Wait, make some noise!
Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
Boy.
2014.
And we're back.
But yeah.
Anything else to say?
I don't know. What
I mean, we're jumping all over, and it's interesting because every single time I think about it, I was like, oh shit, we haven't even talked about that yet. Like, there's just
so
we jumped all over the place and we explained very few things.
What was one thing? What was one thing that y'all really liked about the movie?
The Greek mythology.
Okay, that was like more not as like.
Oh, that wasn't a good enough answer for you?
Wow.
I wish you could see his face. Oh, bam.
Oh no.
Okay, I'll think of a better answer. That's something that's more specifically Indiana Jones.
I'm gonna go back to what I said before. It's just that I really genuinely liked all the characters in this movie. There wasn't a weak character that kind of like took my attention away from it. I enjoyed it. It was, you know, good action moments. The crazy deaths were kind of nice just to break up the wholesomeness a little bit.
Yeah. I really liked the fact that Indy was still so Indy.
Yeah.
Even with his age, I really liked that I still knew the character. He was still true to form, but he had that age, that wear and tear still on him, and he acknowledged it rather than trying to pretend that it wasn't there. and pretending to be something that he wasn't. He wasn't pretending to be 30 years old. He acknowledged that he was older, but yet he still had that core base. Like, he was still the unquestionable archaeologist. So there you go. Is that better Indian question?
You could have gone in depth in the Greek stuff because it was cool, the idea that.
Oh, now he tells me that it was okay.
Well, so we had Greek, we've had Mayan, we've had Christian, we've had Hebrew, we've had
all the flavors.
Hindi.
Yeah. So, like, it's been cool to see that they've hit all those little things. What is something you didn't like about the movie?
Interesting. It's good that I can't just off the. What did you like?
Actually, that's a good.
But it's a good point that we can't actually be like this one, like Magic Monkey scene. Bam.
I think the thing that I disliked was, again, the lack of the puzzles and less of the archaeology, more of the more action filmy than that. So yeah, that would be. I was hoping for more of that.
That's fair.
Yeah, especially because I really did enjoy that that was the thing that really saved Crystal Skull, was the problem solving, and not just because it was for him it was almost in this one following her around.
Mm-hmm.
She had already solved a lot of the problem.
So much about it.
Well, that's just it.
Yeah, so it wasn't like they had to figure out where to go. She already knew. It was just, I'm going to go there with you because I might have to decipher something. It was not really having to figure stuff out.
Yeah.
So it was a bit of a cheating aspect, right? Because you didn't even get to see her figure stuff out. But, like, I loved her whole thing, even though it was bullshit, when she had read the tablet about all the things she was spewing out. It was so interesting to hear. It was so interesting to have them list all this. It was just like, Greek mythology, yes, bring it on. I was so excited.
I was kind of excited we might get to go see Alexandria, but then
right, but no,
red herring.
Cave.
Yeah,
I really wanted to go to the giant cave of echoes, though. That was really awesome. What did I not like? That's interesting. Actually, it's kind of impressive that I can't immediately think of something where I'm like, nope. I was frustrated at the very beginning, not the very beginning, but in the first chase, on the moon day, of all the different people that were going on, and I had to remind myself, we'll learn who is who, and we'll figure it all out. But I was a little frustrated when it came to that. I also thought that the scene with the auction, I know we had talked about this earlier, was a little unnecessary. And that scene felt bloated and just, it didn't do anything to help.
Right.
So it felt a little bit more of a play for laughs of almost showing a time period jump where it was like his whip used to mean something of more of like scary, and it was like, oh, by the way, I had guns. So it was like a weird shoehorn in of showing.
It's kind of sad too, because that was like the one scene where he actually like used his whip, and we got to see all the cool whip stuff, and then it was it
never really showed up again.
No,
it was at the very beginning. He used it once
back in the past, right?
That doesn't count.
Yeah. So what about?
Yeah, he never swung on the whip. Why did he never swing on the whip?
I don't know. His arm was tired?
You know what? The thing that
shit got real.
Pissed me off.
Oh boy.
Whoa! He was like all quiet and like totally cool. I'm chill. You look super stoned. And then you're like, wait a second.
Apparently that was an air horn of rage.
Yes.
The Paramount logo did not turn into something.
Oh.
You know what? That is true. Rage from the fucking beginning.
Honestly, that was one of those things where, like, when the Paramount logo did not turn into a mountain of some sort within the movie, I was like, well, shit, this isn't going to be the same movie. This is going to be
a shit movie.
This isn't an Indiana Jones movie.
No, I immediately thought the same thing because I was once you told me that, I was like so looking forward to watching that and everything. I'm like, ooh, what are they going to...
It's the first one out of 5 films not to morph the mountain into something.
So they say that was a Spielberg
different director. Yeah.
You know what? No, I don't care.
And Mangold should have honored the tradition.
That was...
We're demoting him to Man Silver.
Bronze, if even. Bronze.
Oh, because you pissed Mike off badly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one really bugged me. That
Yeah,
really actually.
I can tell.
And it was, I know it's like a very minor gripe, but like they've all had that.
Yeah.
That
they have.
each single one.
I did like that the title was very simple, like the rest of them. Though it was, it was in line with that. That was cool. Not good enough. The mountain was.
They
took
the Lucas film and turned it into a box, into a rectangle.
Ridiculous. That wasn't even like
not worthy of a mountain. And that movie literally began on a mountain.
You know what actually kind of pissed me off a little bit? No, not a little bit. Like actually, really kind of pissed me off. Black Adam. What a terrible movie. I don't know why.
Holy crap, am I going to get to see Jesse angry? I never get to see him angry.
You know what? Okay, hey, so we haven't watched Shazam.
Yes.
What is your review of Shazam?
Why are we doing this?
Shazam 2, Fury of the Gods?
Yeah.
It was not great. I did like the first Shazam movie. I did. It was a little bit. It felt different to me, and it felt like
it was goofy, but it was fun.
It was goofy, but it was fun, and it was entertaining. But the biggest problem with Shazam 2 was that it got bogged down in too many characters. You know, he's got his whole entire family is superheroes now, and it was trying too hard to do too much with too many people.
And that makes sense. That's what it looks like in the trailer.
And that's the bottom line for me. Yeah.
So yeah. So I'm just gonna go on this. I don't know if I want to see Blue Beetle.
I know he keeps saying that.
That's scary.
Which is weird.
It's terrifying.
After the Flash, do you want?
When was the last time?
Isn't Gunn involved in this though?
No,
really. This would have come up before he was.
Okay.
Would have been. But
well,
when was the last time you skipped a superhero film in the theater?
We won't.
Shazam 2.
Shazam 2.
Black Adam.
Black Adam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's fair. At least you have a history of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
I know my sister's really excited about it.
For Blue Beetle?
I think it looks pretty cool.
I mean, she won't go see it in theater because she doesn't see anything.
I don't know. It's hard to say because, there's a lot of bad.
Honestly, at this point, though,
DC has zero faith.
With DC, as much as I love Gunn, I'm honestly scared for Superman.
Well, because I don't trust the DC execs.
Yeah.
I don't trust that their whole company will allow for an interesting, creative, well thought process for a movie.
It's hard to know how much control he's actually going to have over what gets produced there, right?
And it's hard because we're very gun shy about the idea. You don't really want to trust.
Good one.
I like it. I didn't even plan on that. Look at that.
He did lose some cred with me though, was saying that he really liked Flash.
Yeah, I know. But
that was the typical executive.
You've become one of them.
Become a suit.
Yeah,
you have to say it.
It is a little scary. It's a little scary.
It's a lot scary. It was a shit movie.
It's a lot scary. It was terrible.
And dude's sober too, so he wasn't high or drunk when he watched it. So that's what's worse.
Yeah, well, neither were we.
Well,
I know, and we thought it was shit.
Money talks really well.
God, someone needs to give me money. I'll start talking good about movies.
Yeah, seriously.
I'll shill my body out for DC if they want to give me some monies.
I mean, yeah, why not? We need a summer gig, right? At least till we get the food truck up and running.
Yeah.
I think maybe we should shut this off. We're starting to bitch about DC now. I mean, it's not even the topic of the podcast.
What? There's a topic?
I know.
It's my fault. He brought
the Rock into
this.
He did. Okay, so besides the logo not shifting into a mountain,
yes,
just some of the scenes felt really long.
Yeah,
some of the action scenes,
yes,
and the chase scenes felt really long, and as we talked,
so it felt the same problem before.
And as we talked at dinner, there was some times where my mind began to wonder, and
I built up too much about Schmidt about what he was going to do.
I felt like if the movie is so good and the story is so engaging, your mind shouldn't start being able to even start veering off and really theorizing 50 million different ideas.
Yeah, because I think there were parts of the movie where it was okay, now we're doing this. Okay, now we're doing this.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're doing this. And so you just kind of like, okay, this is the new thing. Cool, cool, cool. So what else is going to happen?
Yeah.
Here? Like,
Where is it going to go?
where is this going?
What I did really like was, though, I genuinely liked seeing him, as much as the CG wasn't, like, great. The end of the war Indy, I thought it was a kind of a fun scene because it was, like, more harkened to, like, old Indy.
Mm-hmm.
And just Indiana Jones in general as just being who he was, and that he was still likable, even as an old man. Because like when I think of like old men movies,
they get all gruff.
They get gruff and angry. Like you think of Logan, like Logan wasn't enjoyable as a character at the beginning of the movie because he was just a dick.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and he never was to the point where I was never angry at him.
No, never once.
He had so much emotion.
You felt almost sad for him because of where he was in life.
Even when he retired and he could care less. Like he gave the gift away so he felt very detached from the people. Okay, so he had that moment of like, kind of screw you guys. But when he found his colleagues were dead, he looked truly mortified.
Yeah.
Like very, very worried and upset.
Yeah.
There was no cold in him, right?
No, he wasn't cold or
so I love that idea.
Well, he went from such a prestigious school to such not
at all.
Yeah. So
I love that he could talk to Archimedes, that he knew the language enough to talk to him.
That was always in his school by Indy. He seems to know like every
He knows everything, and it makes it awesome.
Right. He seems so unassuming because he just seems like a mercenary, but like, at the end of it,
he's not just a grave robber.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. He's not just a grave robber.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I saw in the Toy Traders flyer there's more Indiana Jones toys. So apparently,
I know, and I don't know how we're gonna get down there.
I don't know either. I got so much going on.
Yeah.
Friday's like too busy.
Too busy, man.
Well, I mean, you don't have to get them, right? I mean, it's just like an option, right?
See, listen to Jesse more often.
I mean, have you ever thought of just like looking at a set that you really want and being like, nah, I'll do the next one?
What the fuck? This is a painful conversation.
I feel attacked.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you gonna walk home?
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah.
Crap. You can shit on onion rings for a while if you want. If it'll make you feel better.
Onion rings are amazing.
I know, right?
God.
I mean, like,
okay.
onion rings are amazing.
I know they are. Let's go get onion rings.
I'm in.
Come on, bitches. We're gonna go get onion rings.
Is that the new like exit sign?
Yes.
Yeah.
Come on, bitches. We're getting onion rings.
Yeah.
Hey, so how's this for weird? Me and Jesse literally have been friends for like 4 years, almost.
Oh gosh, yeah.
3-4 years now.
Has it been that long?
Yeah, it's been like terribly long.
Terribly long.
3.5.
Okay.
3.5. I met you in this beginning of 2020.
Okay, cool.
Cool.
That's
And then it was like, probably like 6 months before
So
I
you're
actually could stand you.
you're COVID friends. Okay.
Yeah, oh.
we trauma bonded.
We did. We did.
Like we went to one movie last year.
Yeah.
And then this year we've gone to 4 movies.
We can't get away from him now.
3 of which were in 1 month.
1 month. Yeah.
Well,
So-
now it's become a thing now.
Well, part of it is because like I always would go to movies with there's always like a certain group of friends that I would always go see movies with, and they've all turned into a bunch of lame ass people who don't have time or have lost interest. So
Well, what the hell's wrong with them? I'm glad they're
know.
still cool.
So now,
They're the coolest.
I'm just I've decided to only go to movies with cool people. So
That's amazing.
Yeah.
We gotta figure out what the next one is then.
what is
Yeah, sorry, we already have our Mission Impossible tickets.
I don't even know if I'm gonna see that though because like, okay,
No,
it's
no,
not
I don't
that
want to hear.
No.
I don't
It's
wanna
not a
hear this.
criticism of Mission Impossible at all. Not a criticism at all. I would love to see it, and I would love because I mean, regardless of anything, it just looks like it's going to be a cool action movie.
Yeah.
Regardless of anything, my problem is I'm so lost with like the storyline timeline with everything.
Oh,
that's
because
happened.
it's become a very
Because I
big
haven't-
story.
Like I would
Yeah.
love, and so I would love to go back and just watch them all in
Yeah.
sequence. But I can't find all of them to watch online.
Yeah, and you
So
don't have a
it's-
disc, so
it just makes
Do
it.
we own them?
Yeah.
All of them?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
but he doesn't have a disc.
I know, but
So
now it's gonna be movie nights at home with Jesse.
Next 6 nights.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Got all summer.
Not all summer.
So
it's only a few.
The 11th. The 11th. July 11th.
So that is one that I will probably eventually watch.
Honestly, there's not a lot like. It's Mission Impossible is actually a surprisingly like solid series.
It is, and
that's why I'm so
two
in
is
love
probably
with it.
the weakest.
I don't remember watching any of them and thinking, oh my god, like
they've just gotten better.
They've gotten better, which is really weird for a series.
Like I could care less about them, but I mean it's so old, right? But I fell in love with them later on.
After 3.
I love it so much.
Did you ever watch the original series?
No.
So I actually watched a lot of the original series because it was on one of the few channels that our TV could pick up.
Yeah.
A lot of the times they would have old reruns of it. And I loved it. And compared to the movies, the show is slow as shit. Like,
no doubt.
It's like it was an hour-long program, but it could have been a half-hour program if they just did all the cool action-y bits and not like, you know, the dramatic setting up tension bits, right?
Yeah.
But once everything got executed and you realized what everyone's part in and everything like came together, it was like mind-blowingly cool. And then I remember it was watching the first movie, and at first I was like, this is terrible. They're just killing everyone. Like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
This isn't Mission Impossible.
Right.
This isn't everyone does their thing and then comes home and everything's great. So the first one I was a little bit iffy about, but then as I watched them, they're great movies.
Well, like to me, it's like the embodiment of all my favorite novels to read. Like it's perfect. Like if I can imagine it would be an actual book, it would be phenomenal. Like that is the character, the style of character that I love. Like Ethan Hunt is just amazing.
Yeah, it's a great character for sure, and I love the family of characters that have been built up around that show, and the ones that continue, and the new ones and everything. Yeah, it's great. But as I said, I would probably want to find some way to rewatch them before.
That's fair.
And that makes sense.
Yeah.
You're gonna come to the double feature, Oppenheimer, Barbie.
Go hang out and play pool with us.
I don't know if I could handle that much sitting and watching in one day. I'm not a young man anymore.
It's not the age, it's the mileage.
As much as I am.
Okay, TMNT, Mutant Mayhem.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We'll do that.
We can do that one.
Definitely, yeah. I'm trying to think what else is coming out.
Because in Haunted Mansion, I'm very excited about Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
What
that's the end of July.
Is Blue Beetle coming out this summer?
Middle of August.
August. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. I know like there's actually very few people I know that are interested in watching that movie, so I probably won't end up seeing it in theater. But definitely excited for TMNT.
Yeah, that one.
There you go.
Because
so that'll be the next Jesse.
Wow, it's been a whole month.
It's gonna be a month.
Don't worry. I'll just come back randomly and just be like, yeah. I'll just randomly agree with things that you have to say. There'll be an entire episode where you guys talking about the movie, and I'll just jump in with like, yes, totally. I don't quite agree with that, but I see your point.
You know what? If you could manage to do that, I would be thoroughly impressed.
As long as we give him a sour, he's good.
Yeah, right?
Just sitting in the corner drinking a beer. Yeah! You go, girl! Woo! Living it up!
Oh, goodness. And with that, I think it's time to wind this down.
I'm out yeah.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
And remember,
stay rad, dudes.